Welcome to another Old World Fanatics live stream. I'm finally going to do some hobby for an hour. I guess if there is people around, once they jump on, make sure, let me know if the audio is working, because I have not done one of these in a while. And I think it's right, but who knows? And this is not my usual desk. It's next to my normal one. So anyway, it's just me today, and as you can see, it's these chariots that I've been talking about for the last month, which I haven't done much with. This was the one rattle canned. This is one of them that was just airbrushed, but I'm going to dry brush a bit of white over it and throw some colors on and just see what happens. And if anyone's around, tell me in the chat. But otherwise, that's what's going to happen, I guess, for an hour or so, and just ramble on. Some peanuts here, but get rid of them. Yeah, life has got busy with work, unfortunately, not like the beginning of the year, which was a good break. But I'd figured if I set up the live stream, I will actually do it. So that's what I did. Yeah, I've actually liked, now that I've printed all these chariots, but then Games Workshop's going to bring out those new goblin chariots. Yeah, I might just use 4 of these avatars, 2 to 4 of these avatars of war ones, and then maybe some of the Games Workshop ones. But I don't know. I didn't really go and look at the stream again. I'm not sure when those Git mod stuff's coming out. So if I missed it, let me know. I'm going to try this airbrush paint. I don't know. It's going to be too watery for dry brushing, but anyway, it might be. It's probably going to be way too wet. Yeah, it looks it. If anyone is around, what are you guys hobbying on? Thumbs up, okay. Yeah, it's probably too. I think I'll get some slightly more opaque one. Someone did leave a chat here, but that was like, oh, geez, what's that, 9 hours ago? So figuring they're a little bit early for it, which is all good. Even if no one's around, watch it back, or at least I'm getting some hobby done. I think with these, I'll get, you know what I was going to do? I might have to go over there in a minute and get it. I was going to actually start just dry brushing the bases as well, because I don't want to paint like this. I'd rather get it on the base as soon as I can, and then go with that. I'm just going to do a pretty shitty job on this one, I think. A little bit more white around the harsh angles on the wood and stuff and the fur, just for the contrast to grab. It's also quite a delicate little figure, so I'm just conscious of putting too much weight on it. I was going to use a smaller dry brush, but I think it'll put a bit too much pressure on and snap some of the stuff, so I'm just take it a little bit easy. Just picking where I'm actually needing to dry brush, because I don't need to do the whole thing. There's a fair bit of metal on this as well, which I probably won't use contrast for anyway, although I do have some of the metallic contrast paints now. Actually, on this one that's already done, I might try a different, I don't know, I'm going to try this wolf, painting the wolves like a watered down skeleton horde, and try and paint a bit of a stripe down their back. I saw it on a YouTube channel. Don't actually have it up here. I should have tried to find it. I saw it the other night. I'll go off memory, see if I can do it. But see, I just banged that guy and he survived. It's funny, this goblin is like attached to the chariot, so if you don't put him on, like his hand is baked into, it's his hand or his foot? No, I think it's his hand is baked into the front of the chariot. So if you don't put him on, like he just doesn't have a hand, and there's always a chariot. There's a hand on the chariot. So if you're painting him separate, it's a bit weird. Yeah, really just need to get my orcs done. And I really, now that Empire's out, it's making me want to crack into Empire. Not that I have heaps of time, but then I figured, look, if I'm just spending time on Empire and Orcs, worst things that you can be doing. Just that the Orcs, I've still got heaps. That was a bit too much. Got heaps to do, but there's like trolls to do. That'd be cool to have. Like, I just want troll horde. I want a normal orc, like options like night goblins and other things. But then I also want the war. A lot of ball boys, chariots, 2 wyverns just for options, stuff like that. I'm gonna do up one. I was going to do up one of these chariots with a shaman, but now that Games Workshop's brought that guy out. No, maybe I'll wait. It's not too far off, that is. Hopefully, I don't hear the vacuum in the background. My daughter is back. We've got guests coming tonight, and we've made her vacuum. Oh, you probably can't say it, but this these are some of the spillages from my daughter painting her arcane figures, but she's doing good, so I'm not going to complain. I'm edging on this thing. It's riveting looking at the coming down the stairs. Hey Zoe, you don't have to do it down here, just upstairs. Oh, okay, I'm on a live stream. I'll do that down later. Should have told her that. I thought she was just doing upstairs. Oh, good. Oh, look, that's probably going to be enough. It's going to be dark, and then I might just do some dry brushing later on the contrast if it's not good enough. Might be a bit of a quiet one here. Probably should have checked if it's actually if the stream's actually working. I think it is, but didn't really advertise it too much. I might just jump over.
Make sure.
Yeah,
Audio is what.
It's going. It's always good. Right, man, I've not painted in weeks. It's crazy. It's weird. It's going to I don't know if I want to start on now. I love using snakebite leather as wood, so I might do that. Let's see. This yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see when we get the Empire. I just finished listening to, I think it's the Dwellers Below Empire review, and that was really good. A couple of interesting builds, but I think the conclusion was still, doesn't matter, come up against a dragon, you'll still get wrecked type thing. They just don't really have enough. They can be competitive, but only if the other army isn't specced out to all hell. I did like the idea if they could get like the Van Hell Spectralum, whatever it's called, back. And I know it wasn't in the Old World era, but yeah, they can just throw that stuff. What wasn't it, the Goblin Hewer or something? It's the same sort of thing. And then they were saying like, oh, he plagiarized. It was plagiarized anyway, so therefore it is available in Old World. So it'd be easy to retcon some of that and still have it, because that type of that magic item is just so classic Empire. Plus, gives you some type of, I don't know why I painted under there. Gives you some type of play against a dragon, even though the chances are you've still got to get in combat with it and all that. But it's interesting, nonetheless. So being able to swap your shitty stats with Chaos Lord and Dragon, that would be very interesting. Man, I feel like a noob painting. I haven't done it for so long. This camera, probably should have used my iPhone for the down camera, sorry. But All right, I moved the mount. I don't know where it is. That's a bit... Sorry, guys. I will do a better job sorting this out. And pick a time, when Andrew can make it as well. It's a bit... Thursdays are good for me and not for him, and so I just need to work around that. We'll sort it out. Because I'm going to have so many of these chariots, I've got to just, not be too particular, let's be honest. And how much are they? 50-something points. Let's not go overboard. Yeah, see, this is where I wanted the bases done and just put it on the base and then paint. So I might do a bit of this guy and then grab the bases and boringly start some dry brushing to get them done, and then I can glue the chariots on. This makes it a lot easier to handle. Sort of clumped a bit there. Pretty busy chariots, actually. There's a lot of stuff on them. I have the Beholder miniature ones as well, but they're just, I don't know, they're a little bit plain. They look great in the images, and you print them out, and they're not bad. They're just, I think these Avatar ones just look so much better. Even though they are a bit big. I actually scaled some of them down. Is this one scaled down? Yeah. I don't know if you can see that, but it's definitely scaled down slightly. If you look at the front, well, yeah, the width of it's down. Because this is so big when you put it on the 50s, it's it's not going to fit. Because this is designed to be a 3-wolf one as well. And if you do 2 or 3, it doesn't really matter. It's still the same width. So just the way they've designed it, which is not bad. It's just hard to fit on a 50 wide, if that's the case. Yeah, well, no, I was not going to talk about it. I don't have a whole lot to talk about what I've been doing. That's just this ranking site, which again has taken me my interest. I'm very, very interested in it. It's sort of obsessed with at the moment. Just because I've been doing some extra different technologies. I'm a software developer, but it's good to finally put something to practice that's your own. I mean, I did have that with couple of startups I've got, but they're always a bit harder to get going, and this doesn't have that pressure of I guess making money, so to speak. I mean, it'd be nice down the track if it had different plans and people, you could offer $2 or $5 plans to users to do certain things, but that's way down the track. I just want to get it to the point where I've pulled way more countries in and the meta reports are in there, which will be, I think, what most people want. So, they're pretty, whenever you look on the internet and look at search terms, that's what sort of comes up. It's not very, I think what I've done so far, it's not going to be too hard to just keep building on it and then basically have monthly meta reports and stuff and what's changed, what's not, what are the winning sort of things. Again, I know it's all competitive, but my view is it pulls everyone into the game, and if you're not competitive, that's fine. But if it's competitive, it's going to bring more people to play, and therefore the game's healthier. Obviously, you don't have to participate in that sort of meta chasing stuff. That's not what I'm trying to promote. But it is, it's interesting just to look at what people are doing out there, taking what's winning, what's not, that type of thing. It's just a matter of getting time on it. I smashed a few weeks into it, not weeks, but for a week I did that every night, and then now I'm just got to get some other stuff done, so slow up a little bit. And plus now people are on it. It's one of the for those who are software, you don't want to be breaking the thing all the time. So you just got to be a little bit more careful, especially some of the stuff I have to do next. It potentially does a little bit of underlying architecture changes and stuff, so I just need to take my time. You'll get there. It's actually a bit of a challenge to get the paintbrush in here. It's definitely a test one. I just want to like see how quickly I can just throw down some of the wood and then the fur, and then the metal, and it's like pretty much, you know, and then you can just finish off the characters and stuff. Should be pretty easy ones. I have to remember that, yes. Like maybe the character one. If I buy those ones from Games Workshop, I'll spend a bit more on the character. But these ones, I might try and just smash them out. God, that camera looks very shit. Just the color. Ooh. No. It doesn't look like exactly like that in the real life. Is everyone still playing as much as they were? I mean, I haven't got a game in a month. It's just been this time of year. Christmas comes around and you got all this other stuff. It's a bit of a challenge, but like it's healthy. Like I've seen like the amount of tournaments on around the world, even into January. It's very encouraging. So I hope that's good news for the game in general, especially next year once all the factions are out. I think you'll see it take another step forward, I think. Should be good. Yeah, there's so much wood up on that little thing, but I might leave that. Get the bulk of that bit done, get the fur. I just want to get the bases done. I just totally forgot about it. That was my plan initially, put them on the bases painted. Because then, I don't know, then you're not tempted to paint things you don't need to paint, to be honest. You can't see it. If you can't get to it because it's on the base, then you probably can't see it. So I mean, I know it does make it a little harder. The thing I could do is do some slightly different wood than some of the other ones, just to mix them up a little bit. They're supposed to be rough and tumble goblin chariots, so I don't want them looking too perfect. I thought I saw another bit. Oh, yeah, that. Let's do that. Had some awesome hot weather days here, been in the pool, everything, and then we've got visitors like family coming. Every time they come, it rains, and it's raining today. I mean, it's not pouring, but it's just so typical. I swear every time they've come to our house, it's been wet. I'm just going to get one of these bases, sorry. Thanks for riveting TV, doing basing. I should have done this earlier. We need this back. My orcs use the old school sand technique, so here's what it is. Yeah, see, like this guy only just sort of fits. But I think this one it's like a lot better. Only subtle, but just a slight percentage change. I could probably use a bigger dry brush on this, couldn't I? Used to using this one for my infantry. That's all good. Let's go to this big one. It's dry. That's better. Better practice. I might just do 2. Yeah, I probably should just do all of them on here. Yeah, well, lots of people on. So this nomadic war is just going to be a lot of chariots, a lot of crap in core. I don't know if I'm the type of person to play that, but it is what it is. But I do figure like it's cool just to have a lot of options, and then obviously down the track I can switch it around. And I've never really had a full send army, so I guess when it's all chariots and boar guys and a wyvern, it's pretty much full send, and that will be fun because I just haven't played that much before. So I need to learn how to do that a little bit. The Empire was interesting. It's so frustrating because I was thinking about like a full magic denial list. I was like, I wonder if you could take 2 war altars. Of course you can't, which is a bit of a shame. But I guess depending on what happens with this war wagon, if it becomes a pretty good buff wagon and you can have maybe more than one, I think that, that's going to help the Empire a bit potentially. And especially they're going to have to, I hope it's more like, which book is it? Like I hope some of the new stuff or whatever they bring can just be in the normal army list as well, so you're not just stuck having to play the armies of infamy. Now, whether or not all these books were done before, the meta's evolved, I'm not sure. So that's the issue. They just need something to give them a bit of pop. I'd really love it if they get some of their own signature spells. That I don't know, that just sort of have that hearken to Colleges of Magic, even though it's not there yet. Like as in, like the Winds of Magic are still there. Now, I've never understood this concept. I think I've talked about this on the pod. That we're like, oh, we can't have bright magic and all that because the colleges aren't there. It's like, but that's just the Empire. Like, why did we have the Colleges of Magic laws anyway? Like, why was Lizardman using the Colleges of Magic thing? You know what I mean? If you get what I mean. Like the 8 wins are the 8 wins. They're there whether or not you call them by the colleges or not. So like, I'm not sure they needed to do what they did in a way. It's almost like the other armies should have still had these, go back to the old things of calling them amethyst and grey and all that or whatever it was, the Winds of Magic. But Empire had like some blend of them because they didn't, aren't able to control them, didn't know about it. I think that would have made more sense. Hey, Mr. A. Thanks, mate. Quick day and Scoot. No worries, mate. It's one of these middle of the day ones. I'm not sure where you are. I can't remember, but thanks for jumping in, mate. All good. Just rambling to myself. What I do anyway. Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, that's good. No, I'm loving it. I don't want to. I could talk about it all day. That's the problem. I don't sort of want to totally, but railroad the podcast all the time. Hey, that's a general. Oh, they're goblin wolf chariots from Avatars of War. You can sort of see this. And you get different versions of it. This guy's got a little goblin hanging off like a little pirate nest thing, which is pretty cool. There is another goblin that'll go in it with a big spear. But I'll do him separate. I've got them on little bases. But and then this one is the other variant that just doesn't have. It's the easier one. Doesn't have that guy in the back. And to be honest, even with this one, I'll probably just put one goblin on the back. I don't know. Not sure yet. We'll see. Funny thing is, I'm trying to remember how I did these basing. I do have it written down somewhere, but where was it? Tuskifer? I'm just looking at my paints. You know how sometimes you don't remember the paint, but you know the color. Oh, now we're getting some people in. Hey, mate. Yeah, thank you from the US. Yeah, well, that's why we were running some of these. And we will try to get back to running them more often, like weekly. I want one a week. And the good thing is, if you do it around lunchtime, our time, it's so I'm just getting rid of whenever I dry brush my bases, all the little sand bits come off. Yeah, it's still pretty good for the US. It's probably just not good for the UK because they're not up yet, are they? No. That's what we sort of thought, and it's lunchtime here. We can we can just do that. But we're not Andrew's not around, and Josh always works Thursdays too. So we'll work out something. We'll get some other people on at some point. And sometimes I have people on, some of the patrons and stuff. This might look a bit weird what I'm doing here. Those who hadn't seen my older painting videos, I started putting like these little bits of red on here, and then it goes over with like a lighter dry brush. And it blends in for my night goblins, which have like more of the mushrooms coming out of the red areas. It's sort of like fungus stuff. As I said, this is like a really long way to do bases. It's like 4 or 5 different dry brushes and colors, but it's just so many my old army is done that way, and I just don't have the heart to redo it yet. Not the bases anyway. But for the Empire, I'm much more looking into 3D printed toppers. Yeah, that's right. It's good for the US, especially this time of year. It's so good. For those who don't know, I follow the Steelers. Actually, you can probably see a Steeler helmet on the piano over there. So I am very much aware of the US time zones most of the time. It's kind of funny. Is any of you, if it's 7:45 there, are you hobbying, or are you just relaxing after a Tuesday, or no, Wednesday work day? Yeah, we do this for about an hour. I do this for about an hour, and then I just get back to what I was doing. Thursdays is the day where I either work for myself most of the time. I mean, technically I do anyway. But I'm pretty busy Monday to Wednesday these days with some clients. So I was looking at the ranking site this morning because one of the next things I'm looking at is expanding. Obviously, continually adding more regions. So, but I'm training up. It sounds funny. Training up Andrew and maybe a couple of other people to help manage the data in some of the regions and stuff like that, because I pull stuff from the tournament software where I can, and then other things you need to edit or they're not always right. And so I'm hesitant to bring, like, the next batch of regions will be things like New Zealand for sure. I know it's little, but I know the guy who can give me more accurate results. And then some of the European ones. So we'll probably go with like Norway, Spain, France, Germany, Poland. I think once we start getting into that, we've got a pretty good coverage. So at the same time, I'm adjusting some of the meta reports. So I've actually got more detail of different breakdowns of the factions and stuff. So it's going to be good. Yeah. I think I skipped that one straight to Sharpie last time, so I'm going to do that. The quicker the better. Sorry, I wish I should have thought of this and done these before the. It's not too riveting to watch someone dry brush bases. Anyway. Now put the edges on them. No, I'll do the rocks later. This is probably not the order I usually do it in, to be honest, but yeah, because usually what I'll do is I should have done. I might do that. I'll do that. Like I end up doing the stone next, and put the Sharpie over the whole thing. Then just blends it all together. So I might actually do. I'm just getting a little bit. Yes, I haven't painted in a month, so I'm a bit out of practice. It's crazy. What I'll do with this guy is just go around and pick out all the anything that I want sort of to stick out as like little rocks. Again, I was a little bit the other thing I would do on the night goblins, I'd put like the fungus resin prints on here and stuff, but because these aren't night goblins, I didn't. But technically, it probably should have done it. Had a look at some of the other awesome 3D print, like little base accessories, like skulls and stuff. But I can add them later. It's not too bad. I just really want to paste some of these. Like glue some of these chariots on now that they're airbrushed, and then just even if I have to get a game in and they're not painted, because I was going to play Andrew this week, but we both got a bit tired. At least the basing's done. It makes it look slightly better, even though it's not finished. I don't like playing with unpainted. Oh, nice. Finish some ball boys. Yeah, well, I need to do that too. I've got. I have a set here that are sort of in the process of almost done. That's the first batch of 10, and then I'll do another 10, and then hopefully I can just sort of play around with different combinations. Yeah, well, the green skin, well, it's funny you say, because I've been trying different stuff. So this, I've gone, because I'm moving to full contrast. Let me get one. That's one that's actually, is he finished? No, he's close enough. I've been using, because I like this really bright green. It's ended up not too bad. Let me find one that's actually, sorry. Which one was it? Because I finished a couple that had like some weathering on them. Which one was he? Yeah, maybe this one. Not that you're going to be able to see it. Yeah, well, I've got, that's sort of like that sort of red and battered armor look. So this camera's crap. So I've been going to, and there's actually a video painting tutorial that I did. What did I paint? Jeez. Oh, Araboys. I've been using the Mantis Warriors green just straight over a Zenithal. And it is a bit bright, but I sort of like that. And I just decided I like it. What I do, though, is I use like a pigment, like dark mud pigment or something. Okay. My dog's going to go off in a minute. It always happens. There's a truck. And my dog will go off in a minute. So, sorry. Yeah, and I just sort of get it down by putting some weathering on it. If you can see that sort of takes a bit of the like brightness out of him. And then with the night goblin or the goblins, I probably don't do that as much, and that way they look a bit brighter, because I do like the goblins looking brighter than you can see he's slightly different, just to sort of weather him down a bit. But yeah, I was trying to find something with the contrast paints that just sort of worked in one go, and I think they do. They're pretty good, that Mantis Warrior green. At least I like it. Sound okay? So getting home from the gym, I'm about to eat dinner, then going to debate if my holding time's going to be my Tomb Kings, Battletech, or wow, that's easy. Tomb Kings, mate. I love my Tomb Kings. Is Infinity still very metal based? I remember a lot of it when I looked at it initially. All the figures, they're good in detail, but they're smaller and they're metal. And I was like, oh, this is just giving me fits trying to paint them. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, Dean, I don't. I just throw, basically it's just the Mantis. I've tried, because I tried that other, what's the other one people do a lot of? I think that was like a mix of, the other one you see is Plague Bearer's Flesh with wash or whatever, the green wash over the top of it. But yeah, it's just, the idea of contrast is I want it quick. And so I think that Mantis just comes out good enough. And if you need to tone it down with a bit of a, weathering powder or some sort of what, make it look a bit muddier. That's what I do. And he looks fine, I think. But yeah, with these ones, so what I've been doing, if you haven't seen our pod, is trying to work out how to airbrush the Zenithal. And that is, but just with a bit of white dry brush that I did at the beginning. Because this guy was rattle canned and he's a bit harsher. Whereas I was trying to use the airbrush to get a bit more of a smoother undercoat and Zenithal to work on. So I guess once I paint them up, I'll compare the two. So I've got 4 of these, but one of them is just the rattle can Zenithal, and then I'll see if it made any difference. Trying to use my airbrush more, but I just haven't. Need to force myself to do it. Sorry, clicking these buttons the wrong way. Okay, yes, so that's interesting because that's what my Andrew, like on our pod, does or has done that. I haven't done that yet, but that would be interesting. Yeah, that's it. Plague and Beeltan. Exactly. That's the one I was doing. And it looks good. It just, at the end of the day, you've got to do 2 whole covers of the flesh, like. And when I saw the people using Mantis and I tried it, I went, well, it's a bit brighter, but it's not a bad color. And it came out good. And I don't know, looks good. Looks supposed to be green. There's no not right green, is there? But yeah, no, Tomb Kings are awesome. I've got pretty happy with my Tomb Kings now, but the funny thing is, you look at what I've painted and what I still have. I've still got heaps of snakes to do. Got another Necrosphinx to do. Another Bone Dragon to do. But yeah, I just lose interest and want to do a different army. So just try to get the orcs up to a point where they're all old world ready, and then onto the Empire. Really, they're my main 3 armies. So I don't know if you guys have heard the pod lately, but I've been talking about whether or not just to not even rebase my Aberland Empire and just start painting a new Empire province, which would be Middenland probably. The blue-white, I think, would just be totally different to the black and yellow, and so they would look different. And I've been doing a snow base on some dwarf test models, so I'd probably do the same type of snow basing, given that it's Middenheim. Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah, cool. Okay, just talk about Infinity there. Still primarily metal and still the best designed metal models. Yeah, well, that's exactly. I mean, they were super detailed, but at the same time, I got frustrated with how annoying they are and how fine, and plus they're metal. I mean, you don't have to paint as many, so it wasn't a problem. But coming from 8th Warhammer, everything went sort of plastic, and then when it died, and then trying Infinity for a bit, I was like, oh. Or was it Malifaux I'm getting confused with, which was really finicky? One of them. Might be wrong there. I do like my plastics, to be honest. And I like painting resin. I like just light figures. I don't like metal. I know that can be sacrilege to some people, but where I can, I avoid it. I just doesn't do it for me. Infantry are okay, but big metal models, not a fan of anymore. Really should have done these before the podcast, before the stream. So I'm actually painting a real figure. Sorry about that. At least makes me do it. That's what I thought. I have not done painting in a month. Best way to do it. Schedule a live stream. Got to do it. So what's she saying? But I have Chariot Crawl. I need to paint. They're waiting to get more Tomb Guard to work on some Tomb Guard chariots. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've got a bunch of chariots and I got like a heap of skeleton core. But yeah, I hadn't made any Tomb Guard chariots yet. So I have 3 blank chariots ready for that, but I haven't actually tried them. So that'd be interesting. What was it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Malifaux was that too, was it? It was pretty finicky. Like they're just little. Some of them very fine metal, which they were really good detail. It's just wasn't used to it. Going from Games Workshop metal ones with big club hands. Yeah. What's your Tanako? What's your Tomb King color scheme? Because I'm paint by numbers. I went just straight off what Games Workshop originally did years ago on the 6th ed, just the blue and red. But it looks okay. I think that's why sometimes I struggle with my orcs, because like they're all a bit haphazard, but maybe that's a good thing. They're not supposed to be the two. I've always struggled with either trying to make the orc army look consistently like all the same, but then you don't want it all the same because they're orcs. So yeah. Yeah, see, I do a lot of stuff on these bases to match up with my old 8th edition ones, and I wouldn't do it anymore. I just haven't. Like I put a little bit of a null wash on the rocks, and then I'll just do this dry brush of. I actually used to do 2 different sharp-teeth looking bone, and no, what was the other one? Talon sand, and then a sharp-teeth bone. But like I'm skipping that one, just going straight to a sharp-teeth bone over the top of all this. Basically the Steel Legion drab, and then obviously I'd do the Steel Legion drab. It's not Steel Legion, it's Tiara Earth, but same type of one. That'll go on the edges as well. And then, but yeah, it's compared to what you can do these days with just the effects paints. I wouldn't do my other armies. I don't have this, but the problem when you try and mix it in with what you already got without having to totally redo everything. Half the stuff you won't even see because the model's so big on it. Oh, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7. I thought I did 8. Oh well. I must have another one somewhere. Because I swear I did 8 bases because I have 8 chariots, but that's okay. Something about one of his armies. Yeah, so I have. I'll ignore what I had. See, I've collected since 3rd ed, but that was when I was a kid. Let's ignore that. But that was orcs. But since coming back in 8th, that's when I really redid everything. So I had Empire. I started with them, did them all up, Avaland. Then I went back to my orcs and slowly went replaced my 4th and 5th ed orcs with sort of that 7th, 8th generation, 8th edition orcs. So I had those 2 as my main armies, and then I slow grow to Demon Corn / Zench army, which is pretty good. Mostly like back then, remember it was all like Pink Horror Spam and stuff like that. Bloodletters, Blood Crushers, things like that. So that's a good looking army too, but I don't play that. I played it once in Old World. And then when I died, was it about a year? Well, yeah, hang on. So Tomb Kings were in AOS, but remember when they canned them and then they sort of said it's you can order them now, but they're going away. So then I bought a shit ton of back then, like $500 Australian worth of on sale, whatever it was, Tomb Kings, with the idea of building them up for 9th age, and then I never did. I think that's right. I undercoated a bunch and took them to a 9th age tournament, and then they just sat under a bed until last year when 6th ed was going on and Old World was getting closer, and then I finished painting a 6th ed army of them and then converted them over to be my first army in Old World. But in the process, I basically I could easily play with some base adapters, Orcs, Empire, Tomb King, Demons. But I did also buy like enough Wood Elves to do an army, but they're all on sprue pretty much. So I haven't touched them. And then I have 3D printed entire Dwarf army, which I want to do up pretty nice to play against my Orcs, and then try to get my old mate who used to play with me at school back into it by saying, hey, come play these awesome looking Dwarves. They're all Highlands. They look cool. And technically, I mean, when the game launched, Old World launched, I bought the Bretonnian box set. But they're all in just boxes. Really, it's only those 4 armies that are ready to go. If I use adapters, I haven't done every base change and stuff, but yeah, Team King's Online. It is funny, like, I sometimes wonder if, at least with the Bretonnian one, that there's rumors that they were ready to go for 8th, and so it feels weird, like things like Foot Knights, and the new Peg Hero and stuff. I feel like that. They might have been around longer. I don't know if it's true because I don't know what it says on the sprue dates, but it just feels weird that they got extra plastics and none of the other ones really have. I mean, Tomb King's got a couple of stuff like resin and obviously the plastic dragon. But I sometimes wonder if there was a plan like for 9th ed where Tomb Kings and Bretonnian were going to come out anyway, like because they were pretty much you didn't see Bretonnian and you didn't see Tomb Kings, so they were shit, even though they got an 8th ed book. You didn't really see Bretonnians. And so it sort of, to me, felt like it might have been, and them and Skaven might have been coming up for 9th. But obviously then that went away. And then when they decided to bring Old World out, I wonder if some of that stuff was sort of just the easy stuff to relaunch with. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or a lot of rubbish, but it just, like, you're right. Like, the Old World is supposed to be in the Old World, so Tomb Kings don't even fit into that. And I know they try and bastardize it, but whatever. And Bretonnians aren't in the Old World. So, well, they are, but like not in the Empire Old World bit. It's just funny. Like, it doesn't seem like if it was launched with like, please, you could have launched it with 2 different Empire provinces and made a massive Empire army that was like painted it up like Space Marine ones, where it's just painted up as 2 different provinces for fighting and stuff, and it probably would have been better as a launch box. If Empire were better, that is. And so the rest of it, I reckon, outside of that, these are just this is bullshit. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just wondering if that's why there's just like, you had Chaos come out with like not one new thing, or you do now with the Friedel. Like I reckon it was just loaded up for the next 2 years saying this is what we'll do. These are the ones we're going to work on to bring back. These are the sprues we're going to fix up or remaster. And then obviously now that the scope has changed, I think obviously there'll be some, either new plastics with the new armies, or there'll be massive range refreshes or something as they come back. Look at this. My daughter's left a paint one not shut. Damn it. I'll lift that one. It's okay. Obviously the legacy factions might be next as well, but there's so many good ones to pull from AOS. So it'd be interesting if they get over their fights and they just do that, because that would be awesome. Like Vamps looks so good with AOS ones. Yeah, how good would it? Yeah, totally. That would be awesome. I think he might actually be taken if you could do that, because he would look cool. I was actually thinking about that. You can't take it though, can you? Can you even take it in the book? Because what is he? 50 points. Like, technically, he's not worth the points for the MR thing. But if he was on a horse and you could get him in where you could use his killing blow and stuff, then he becomes a bit more useful. Thought exactly the same thing the other day, actually, when I was going through the Empire book again. Sorry, I'm on my other screen. I want to bring that up. I can't remember. Where is it? Empire of Man. And that witch hunter, I love it. Like, I've painted him up. He's probably one of my better paint jobs I've ever done on a character, for a small character. That same design but on a horse would look pretty cool. As long as it's not one of the old Empire horses, of course. Where is he? Warrior Priest, Witch Hunter. Oh, okay, so you're right. He can be mounted, but they're just not going to have one. Okay, well, that gets me thinking, is there 3D prints around? I don't think there was one in... Sorry, I'm going to have a look. You got me. I'll just use the excuse that the rocks are still drying. Let's have a look here. Bring this up. Hang on. Is that going to work? Look at a Highlands. What do we got here? I thought I was looking through these the other day, and they definitely got a witch hunter, but I can't remember seeing a mounted one. But that would be cool if there was. You could probably make one. Yeah, this is this batch I was looking at, but they're all... I'm sure there would be. If you guys know if there's a mounted model. Because, see, they've got that guy there. I wonder if you could, to see if I was better at the modeling, you could, blend him into maybe... Just check that you can still see what I'm looking at. Battle Wizard. Would he look weird if you sort of, chopped his top off in a 3D modeling program and put him on top of, I don't know, one of the other heroes? Where's all the mounted heroes? This just must be in the units. So there's the wall. I mean, when they don't get that wall wagon out in time, people are just going to print this guy. I should just print him anyway, just for fun. I'm having issues 3D printing something for my daughter, and I don't know if something's screwed with the printer. So I need to print something else just to see. So maybe I should print something big like this. Now, I printed a few of these guys, but I wonder if you could almost use the bottom, like the bottom of there, cut that, and then put the witch hunter on top. That'd be funny. I'll have to look at that. Be interesting. Yeah, war wagon. It does actually. I don't know if that war wagon has crew. I didn't see the crew in that rendering, but I'm assuming it does. Might actually, have a look through that and see if it's worth printing it out, because I'll get the maid to order one, I think, anyway, because it'd be nice. I don't know, I think it's a good looking figure, but if it's made to order and takes ages, then maybe it is worth 3D printing it. Use that one, it's a bit wet. I might try. Yeah, I might buy that war wagon. It's like $12, wasn't it? And then Black Friday. I mean, I've got half price because I'm a Patreon. So $6 US for that, and see if it prints out. Plus, it'd be cool to actually just have it done, ready to go once Empire come out, and then I can get the real one later. Especially if you can have two. Who knows? We might better have two. We don't know yet. Yeah, Guess it's because it's the made to. It's the weirdest one because it's they've made to order it, which means assuming it's like available for all army, like every version of the army, and the rules come in the Arcane Journal. It's a bit weird that it's a made to order. Although I guess made to order, does that mean it's always around? It's just you just don't know when you're going to get it. It's not like a single made to order, or is it? They open up made to order and then they close it. Oh, they do, don't they? They have a chance of not actually being able to get one, which is just weird given that they'll probably, it's one of the, I think it'll be one of the standout figures from the release because it certainly looks almost new because they've re-sculpted heaps of it. I think, again, I don't know what, they've got reasons. I won't rip them off. It just must be bit worried. I've heard people say it's probably just a bitch of a figure to actually cast, even in the resin, and so they don't want to like go and make a shit ton without knowing they're going to sell them all. But I don't know. Really, you're waiting? So, okay, you're gonna hate me, Dean. He's still waiting on his So with that made to order, I ordered that and it must have been in Australia because I got it like 2 days later. So if that's the one, which one is the made to order? Are you talking about like the really old school 4th edition one with the shaman on top? Because that's the one I was talking about. Because I want to build up, and I've talked about this on the podcast. This will be a project down the track. This is like when I'm retired, I've got nothing to do. I'm going to redo the army that's in the 4th edition army book. It's I've also got a bunch of those figures, not all of them, but a bunch of them, and I want to redo them all, but in that same sort of old school 4th ed Goblin Green era redo, and maybe even the dwarfs that they play, and just that Bob, I think it was Bob King, Robert, the guy wrote Go Check Some Felix. He was playing the dwarfs in that one, and Jervis Jones was playing the Jervis was playing the Yorks and Goblins in that. So that 4th ed army book, it's one of the probably is my first army book actually, because fourth was the one where the army book started to come out. So yeah, it just holds a very nostalgic place, and so I had to get that orc on a wyvern because I never had it, and now I've got it. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry. I ended up getting it. It must have been, they must have had some in different countries just sitting there because it came like the next week. It was weird. And then other people like you waiting 7 months. So I don't get it. Very weird. But yeah. So Taniko said, also hearing Empire, if it wasn't committed to I'd say buy those models. Yeah, okay. So how are you doing that? Is that 3D prints then? With the Nippon one? Because I think I've seen some armies before do. I don't know how if they're 3D prints or not, but I assume they are. Oh, Dean, you're in Perth. Cool. Do you go to are you on is it Mitch who runs a lot of the tournaments? Or do you go to them? This is what's funny about do you play at tournaments or you just sort of, so it's morning for you? Well, not morning now. Well, yes, it is. It's still morning. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Yeah, the painting level over there looks awesome. Yeah, Beyond Games, whatever. Yeah, okay. So some of the it's funny. I don't know what. So you have to let me know what armies you play because I'm adding more and more. Where is it? In the backdrop there. I'm adding more and more. Oh yeah, you went to the tournament in October. Cool. I'm adding more and more pictures. So that's my Empire Army picture there in the background of that landing page for Old World Rankings. But some of these, so that is from one of those tournaments. So you might actually see your pictures, your armies if they're there. Won a game out of 3. Was a good vibe. I collect orcs and waiting for wood elves. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I was so impressed with some of the pictures he sent me from some of those tournaments that I said, can I put them on this site? And so some of these, like that one there, that picture is from one of those tournaments. I don't know if it's the October one, I can't remember. But if anyone has cool, like, full painted sort of battle shots, always happy to get them. And I want to just have a massive collection that just, this site just has in the background just for sort of theming it, which is pretty cool. Was Fireforge, was it, for the Nippon? Okay. That might have been someone in Newcastle here in Australia. They have a Nippon one, and they must have used that then, because I remember seeing it a couple of years ago. Yeah, I've got to, how do I do that? Get rid of it. Now, there we go. Oh, I feel like I haven't done as much as I wanted because I had to do the base, but I guess it's always useful. So now I'd probably glue, and then I would end up doing the edges later. Doesn't even look like I've done the base with that crappy camera. But anyway, it is. Well, obviously I do the edge. Actually do highlight the... wasn't that? Which one was I using? I don't know where it's gone. Some of my paints have been moved. Oh, God, that's open. Sorry. Look at that. Open. It's a pretty new gold. Oh, man, that's drying up now. Damn it. I'll have to make sure she puts the lids on a bit more. That's okay. What's the AK am I doing? I don't really do 3D prints. Yeah, I'll tell you what's a good. Have you got? I mean, did you see the Dwayne the Rock Johnson Scorpion? I haven't seen them. I haven't seen that. I got my Scorpions are from that range. That was oh God, now I can't remember what they are. They were a Kickstarter last year. They are awesome. I mean, I'd love to redo. If I wanted to do a whole Tomb King army again, I would. So I'm just checking how dead this gold is. Yeah. Damn, that was almost new. I think it's a little bit. Yeah, they're awesome. These I can't remember. What's it called? Jeez. That's right. Any progress is exactly right. Sorry. Now I want to see these because if you haven't seen this set, it's on high. I think I got it put into my high. Did I get into my Highlands? That's the question. Yeah. Hang on. Right, haven't logged into this computer in a while. I think it's in here. I just can't remember the company name. Ah, Crab. There it is. This one, Crab Miniatures. Yeah, that's it. Pharaoh's Legacy. These were awesome. I mean, I don't know if they're in my mini account, but I've got them. Like I got them with the Kickstarter, but they're just fabulous. So they're just the quality was awesome. They're the ones I've got. Yeah, they came out really nice. And I would do definitely these guys. Even their infantry look awesome. But I haven't actually used their infantry, so I don't know how like delicate they are, given that they're skeletons and resin. But compared to some of the other ones, like Highlands Undead, I think they look too clean, whereas these guys look what you'd expect. Like even the Cav, they've got bandages over them and they're really dynamic. Like look at that compared to Games Workshop derpy ones. But yeah, mine are all Games Workshop except for the skeleton horsemen, the scorpions. But I would like to slowly maybe go through and redo that because they're just so good. I was thinking of doing that with Cetra because I've got Cetra. It'd be cool just to replace the horses with those ones because they look so good. Anyway, I'd say for now, guys, I'll probably get back to some stuff. I usually just do this for now just to make myself, now that I've started, get these guys glued on and finish the basing, and then I can get into these chariots. So maybe I'll jump on this next week. I don't have to be the same day. I might try to get a day that Andrew can drop into, so it's a little bit more interactive. But thanks for coming on, you guys, because that I was by myself there for a bit. But yeah, if you haven't checked out our podcast, go do that on the channel. There's, and we'll get some battle reports up soon. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thanks for watching another Old World Fanatics live stream. I'll be out. Chat to you later.